Signing of the Kandyan Convention on March 2, 1815 between the Kandyan chieftains and the British marked the end of sovereignty of the nation that possessed a glorious and prosperous past. Our motherland was transformed into a crown colony of the British Empire. The lion flag that adorned the Kandyan sky was put down, and the Union Jack hoisted by the British governor, Robert Browning, much to the dismay of the entire nation. The endeavors of national heroes who laid down their lives to prevent it was foiled by the disharmony among the leaders who allowed the end of the sovereignty of the nation. However, even after the country became a British crown colony, the national heroes Gongalagere Banda, Veera Puran Appu and Edirale Rala launched a rebellion to save the country from the grip of the British and posed a threat to the colonial rule, while several others campaigned against the barring on rituals to pay homage to the sacred tooth relic. End of the 19th century and the dawn of the 20th century saw the emergence of several national leaders who launched a freedom struggle. D.S. Senanayake, F.R. Senanayake, Sir Ponnambalam Ramanathan, E.W. Pereira, Sir D.B. Jayathilaka, D.R. Vijayawardena, W.A.D. De Silva, Sir James Pieris and Ponnambalam Arunachalam were among them. As educated and leading personalities who commanded recognition, they embarked on a campaign free of violence. History has recorded it that they made continuous representations to the Crown, challenging the British rule in the country through memoranda, petitions and protests. This resulted in the constitutional reforms of Donoughmore and Soulbury Commissions. On the recommendations of the Soulbury Commission, the imperial governor granted some measures of independence, and Sri Lanka, known as Ceylon at the time, became a dominion of the British Empire on February 4, 1948. The strength, intelligence and dedication of the national leaders who campaigned with incessant civil and independence was astonishing. The imperial government had reached a consensus with the national heroes E.W. Pereira and D.R. Vijayawardena in 1915, even prior to the grant of independence, to return the lion flag, which had been the royal standard during the reign of the King of Kandy, Sri Vikrama Rajasinghe, the king's throne, the crown, the sword, and regalia back to Ceylon. King George V had returned them to Sri Lanka through his son Duke of Gloucester in 1934. King Sri Vikrama Rajasinghe's throne and the regalia were on display during the opening ceremony of the first Parliament on February 4, 1948. At 7:30 in the morning of February 4, 1948, at a simple ceremony at the Queen's House, His Excellency Sir Henry Montmorency Moore took his oath of allegiance and oath of office as Governor-General of the Dominion of Ceylon in the presence of the British Prime Minister and his Cabinet and the Parliament Under Secretary to the British Commonwealth Relations Office, Mr. Patrick Gordon Walker. Sir John Howard, the Chief Justice, administered the oaths. Mr. D.S. Senanayake, the first Prime Minister, greeted the first Governor-General, Sir Henry Moore, at the Queen's House. The week-long independence celebrations were held across the country, and Kandyan dancers performed on a floating stage at the water fete held on the Colombo Harbour, along with the picturesque illuminations of the fort. The newly elected ministers attended religious ceremonies in Colombo in connection with the independence. The Duke and Duchess of Gloucester boarded the Silver York aircraft Endeavour on the morning of February 5, 1948, and made their first flight to Ceylon. The royal visitors were received by the Governor-General and Lady Moore and Prime Minister D.S. Senanayake. The members of the cabinet and a large number of service chiefs and officials were present to the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester by the Prime Minister. The royal party made a triumphant entry to Colombo. At Victoria Bridge, they were welcomed by the Mayor of Colombo, Mr. R.F.S. DeMel. Judges, along with their private secretaries, Triforce's personnel members of the public, queued near the Assembly Hall, Norrington Place, to witness the opening of the Dominion Parliament. The Dominion Parliament was ceremoniously opened at the Assembly Hall. Here, the address of the Senate was presented to the Duke of Gloucester, enclosed in a silver casket. As the lion flag was unfurled shortly after the opening of the Dominion Parliament, Prime Minister D.S. Senanayake addressed the nation. Following the ceremonial opening of the Dominion Parliament, the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester attended a reception hosted by the Mayor of Colombo, followed by a party hosted by the Prime Minister at Temple Trees. Their Royal Highness, the Duke of Duchess of Gloucester, then made their way to Kandy amidst a cheer of crowds gathered on either side of the road. While in Kandy, the royal party visited was received by the Kandyan chiefs at the audience hall at Kandy. The party tour of the Dalda Maligawa was illuminated on the occasion of the visit of the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester. The lion flag, symbolic of Sri Lanka's new freedom, was hoisted by Prime Minister D.S. Senanayake on February 12th, flying over the party tour of the Dalda Maligawa. The royal party was then escorted by a procession for the special convention of the University of Ceylon. Dignitaries including Prime Minister D.S. Senanayake, Dr. Andreas Nell, Lord Salisbury, and Mr. E.A. Nugawala, Minister of Education, attended the prestigious event. On February 12th, the Duke of Gloucester laid the foundation stone of the Convocation Hall of the University. The royal party then made their way to Anuradhapura to pay homage to the sacred Bo tree. They were accompanied by P.B. Bulankollame Disave and several other dignitaries. The Duke and Duchess visited several ruined and sacred cities, which they inspected under the guidance of the Archaeological Commissioner. In Negombo, the Duke of Gloucester opened the festivities of the carnival organized in view of the Jubilee of the Negombo Urban Council on his way back to Colombo from the tour of the ruined cities. The Duke and Duchess made their last public appearance at the pageant of Lanka before they left from Colombo.